Today is going to be a really special video, and I have to keep it under 15 minutes. So I hope I don't miss anything. But I went to a plant ceremony, a plant medicine ceremony this weekend, and I have to share this with y'all. So um, this was really out in the woods. It's a peyote ceremony, um, and so when we got there. First of all, the ceremony didn't start till 9 at night, and it lasted about 12 hours till the sun came up, till the sun was shining, and that's when we walked out of the teepee. So um, we got there at about noon, and the first thing that I felt, I mean, it was just so much love and so much acceptance from these people that I never met in my life. And when we first got there, it was like just hugs and just love, and I'm all about that. So the men, I just thought this was really cool the way that the whole day went. It was like the whole day was sort of like a ceremony in itself. Um, the land, beautiful land, a creek way in the back where the water, it was sand and then crystal clear water where you can drink the water. Very sacred grounds. So that made a big difference in the energy and the vibe of the whole thing. It was just emotional from the moment I got there. Um, so the men made the teepee. This teepee held 50 people, over 50 people that night. The men set that up, and the women cleaned the peyote. We sat there and we took the seeds out. It was just like a ceremony in itself, the whole thing. The women were such a beautiful group of beautiful energy, of loving energy. It was just amazing. So much acceptance, you know, a different world. And I'm sure it's same for the men, and they did their thing and we did our thing. And one of the cool things about this was that just so much respect for the land, for the plant medicine, for the ceremony itself. The women we all had to wear either dresses or long skirts. Nothing showing. We had to have sleeves on, just covering our shoulders, so there would be no distractions during the ceremony. When we went into ceremony, has to be done a certain way, so everyone is in a big circle. There's a huge fire in the middle that, one man basically tended to the fire, prayed upon the fire, and kept it going all night, or yeah, all night. So there was that part, and then I don't know what to call the man that kind of ran it. It was a couple of them that really ran it. I don't really know if to call them shamans or what. So I apologize that I don't know that. But um, the man that ran it, the men that ran it, were just so much inspiration and so much tradition just in their ancestors and in their backgrounds and how they were brought up and how their ancestors were brought up, and this medicine that people use to get high is really medicine, and I realized it that night. So basically the medicine was passed around to each person, and everything was done in such a traditional way. You have to hold it a certain way. You have to pray over it and set an intention for what exactly you need to clear, or what you need for that medicine to help you with, whether it be something pain or something mental health, um, or whatever, or if you just wanted to get closer to God or to Source or to Creator, as what they call. So the medicine was passed around really all night. It was the actual cactus plant was passed around the first time. After the medicine was passed around, or during it, it started like each person had the opportunity to um, shake, do the rattle, and there was a drummer, that just boom, 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 and you can shake the rattle to it, and you can sing. I really didn't even know what to expect when I walked in here, so I wasn't gonna sing anything. It was like most of it was different language, most of it was Spanish, I believe, but it was just the drumming, the rattles, all the instruments were just magical. All the instruments were magical and just put you in this state of being and state of consciousness where everyone was just like one. Like we were sorry, but there was no judgment, and it wasn't about getting some kind of high or wanting to hallucinate, or any of that. It was a respect for the medicine, a respect for the instruments being used, a respect for the fire transmutes the negative energy. The fire is sacred, big time sacred to them, as well as the water, as just all the elements, the earth. The teepee, we sat on the dirt all night. We sat on the dirt, under the teepee. So that's sacred, the earth, the dirt, the fire, the water, and then the air. And, on the top of the teepee was like an opening, where the wood came out from all the different directions, and all of our intentions and all of our prayers were lifted up to the Creator. The only thing I could really say about the actual feeling of the medicine was that it brought up a lot of emotions. I didn't hallucinate. It wasn't like a drug, a get high thing at all. It was emotional. It was an emotional release. A lot of tears just for whatever reasons, just things that we have inside of us that needed to come out, emotions, energy that needed to come out and go into that fire and be lifted up to the Creator. It's just like we all felt like one. We were looking at each other's souls. So one of the really highly respected men um, was talking to another guy, and he was talking in, I believe, Spanish. He was talking in a different language that some of them knew, but some of us didn't. But the energy from that man to the man way across from him um, was so intense and was so loving that it made a lot of us cry. We didn't even know what they were talking about, but it made the girl across from me, it made her just absolutely sob for a minute, for a few minutes. She just cried and cried, and she was okay with letting it out. The main guy that was running it, you know, they have their feathers, and they have all these different instruments that they use to move the energy or to bless people and things like that. So the man went to her, and it was just beautiful. And he went to her, and he tapped her, I believe, maybe on the head with the huge array of like feathery thing, that they use to do things, to do energy work. It's basically what they were doing, what he was doing. So he kind of tapped her here, maybe tapped her hard, tapped her a few places, and he took all that energy and just into the fire. So I'm gonna read a little bit from the journaling that I did the first night. The first night, the night after, I couldn't even talk about it. I would have cried if I talked about it. So really, I just needed to write a lot, because I didn't want to forget anything, and I surely wanted to implement and integrate this into my being, into my heart. You know. So here's a little bit of my journaling. So as I integrate the teachings of this beautiful medicine, I just cry. So many emotions come up, mostly love, appreciation, and gratitude. I love the ceremony traditions, the respect of the elders, and all that came to be involved in some way. Although I was a little too shy to sing and passed the rattle when it got to me, it filled my heart to watch others be so courageous. I'm unsure of why I cried, or just why I cry. So in that moment, I was unsure of why I was crying. Um, Mostly, I know that I learned a new way of being and a remembrance of beauty in life, being an absolute appreciation of Gaia, fire, water, air, energy of the group, the prayers, the love, gratitude going up to the Creator through the top of the teepee, the natives, the healers that were there to support us along our journey were amazing. They taught me that I can transmute old ways of thinking, patterns, emotions, and wounds into the fire. To look deeper into the spirit of the fire and to allow Him to help. For the earth, the moment that I arrived, I knew that it would be a beautiful grounding experience. Being in such beautiful nature in the creek with the perfectly clean water, we drank from the creek, washed our face. Some people washed their whole body with it. The whole night it seemed like nobody there cared about the bugs or the ants or anything getting on them. We sat in the dirt with the fire, lighting up with radiance and beauty and power. I learned that I need that connection to the earth, the dirt, the bugs, and all that is all part of me. I learned that when we respect all of the elements and send our prayers up to the Creator in honor of them, in knowing this, that we are all one with them and all other beings, our prayers and manifestations. As I look around the circle in that teepee, I saw a group of beautiful souls. Not the judgment, not the judgment, the people that I have not seen in the past. I saw the horses and the dogs as pure souls. That's true. That's true. I forgot about the horses and the dogs. As pure souls, I saw what and who was behind the face and the body of human form. I saw these things through my soul, who it is that's looking and experiencing life through my body. There were no hallucinations, only a filter of love for all and for everything, in which I choose to integrate into my life now. I learned to pray and to bless the water that goes into my body and cleanse me daily. All it is, all is to be blessed and appreciated. The energy in this space was intense, with so many new people like myself, but when one individual's soul purged, so did I. When one cried for whatever reason, so did I. My heart opened bigger than it ever had before. They had young people, they had older people, they had a couple there that looked like like my parents, that had never done anything like this before. But the woman had some depression issues, so they tried it. Like it was just such a variety of people, and I know a lot of people are looking into doing things like this now. So I wanted to put this video out there to say, absolutely do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize the few little times that some tears came up, but I'm still emotional about it. It's still new and it's still being integrated into my life and into my body and into my soul. So, thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if it's something that you liked. Please subscribe to the channel. I love you much. Namaste.